guess who's back? Back again. Mikey's back. Tell a friend. Hey everybody, here I am with another pirate ship comparison video. And today we're going to look at the Kazi Black Pearl and the Imperial Flagship, either Lepin or Lego, whichever way you want to go with it. Of course, mine is the Lepin version. And so without further ado, let's get on into it. And here we can see the rears of the ships are roughly, the same. Lined up, that is, I should say. And the rear of the Kazi ship does stick up a little bit further, mostly due to this platform here with this cannon. But the actual bridges of the ships are very, very similar in build, almost identical, with the exception of the raised up part. And then come along the sides of the ships, and you can see that the front of the ships stick out pretty much the same. And that is because these are the two largest, brick-built ships on the market at the time of this video. So there you go with that. And as far as height goes, the flagship does stick up a little bit further because the flag extends higher, which is mostly due to that little extended piece right there. Gives it that little, like 2 or 3 inches, which boosts it above the Black Pearl Kazi ship here. But back on the rears, I like the rear of both ships. The Kazi, or the flagship, has a lot of bells and whistles that the Kazi ship doesn't have. But having said that, just on design, and look, just how they look, I would probably go with the Kazi ship has the better looking rear. But again, that's just my opinion. And of course, both of these ships have the 4 cannon ports on each side, so you can put 8 cannons down in the hull. But the Kazi has this one as well, so the Kazi can actually hold 9 cannons, making it, the bigger of the 2 ships cannon-wise. But as for the pros and cons of the individual sets, if you haven't watched any more of my videos on this Kazi ship, I will just, sorry for repeating myself, but if you haven't, this is your first one, I'll get right down to it. The mass of the ships are the weakest thing about this ship. It doesn't have the Technic pins going up inside of the mass like the flagship does, and most Lego ships do nowadays. So basically, they will crumble, and they're very, very weak. I actually had to super glue mine just to, make them stay up, because it's very, very frustrating and infuriating. So that is the biggest design problem with this ship. And then the Kazi Bricks as a whole are one of the weaker, brands you're going to find brick-wise. I would say 8 or 9 out of 10 pieces you're not going to really have much of a problem with, but 1 or 2 out of 10, the clutch is going to be absolutely, awful, won't even stick. So I had to pull out the super glue for some, random pieces throughout the build of this ship, as well as just plain substituting out the Kazi bricks for Lego bricks, because they just were not working well. And then I made some changes to this ship, and one of the changes I made is I added this platform here to kind of help give it, a center of the ship that, kind of based similar off of what the flagship has, not quite as detailed and as fancy. And so that's an addition I made, as well as these sails here. These are not the official sails the ship comes with. The sails that it comes with, they're paper sails that are actually underneath this. We glued fabric over top of them to give it a better look, because I just can't stand paper sails. I think they're, just ridiculous. And then one thing I do like about this ship is the way it has a place for the dinghy right on the deck of the ship. I think that's a real cool design feature that I have to give Kazi credit for coming up with. And as far as the hull of the ship is concerned, there are 8 cannons down in there, but they're very, very hard to see, and that's because one of the problems with this ship is the lower part of the ship is pretty much inaccessible. It's one of the small design flaws with this ship has just made it completely inaccessible down there. But having said that, I appreciate the fact that it exists. As I've said in other videos, I appreciate the fact that there is a top layer and a bottom layer to the ship. I don't like how most modern ships, there's just what you see is what you get. There's nothing below the ship. So I appreciate that at least there is something there, even it is inaccessible. And then here's this view, so you can kind of see down in there a little bit. Trying to give you guys a good tour here of it. And then I want to point out, you see here the way this is designed. I don't remember exactly what these pieces are called off the top of my head, but that's how the front hull of this ship is built using those, which is an interesting design, and a design that I don't dislike, and it's quite a bit different from the other ship, and I will get to that in a minute. But because this ship at its bare bones core is a clone of the Flagship. That's why you will notice a lot of similarities between the two of them. But I want to, address some of the differences. And so, and that front hull piece here, the way it is designed is one of the differences. And then one of the biggest, differences of this ship, and one of my, bigger complaints, is that the captain's quarters is not accessible at all. One of the problems with this little platform is that it actually it uses pieces on this part, so you can't pull this open to access the captain's quarters, which is kind of a shame because it's not a bad captain's quarters in there. They actually designed a pretty decent one. They just did a poor job in the execution of it, and I'll show you in the back here. This is the only way you can get in to the captain's quarters, and I'll try to peek down in there for you. There's a treasure chest, but both of these come down, but there's no way to get in there. But there is a table, there's a treasure chest, there's a map, so they added nice things to go in there. They just they didn't really think about how are you supposed to actually get into it. I mean, you can't really go in these little windows, Even if a kid was playing with this, I don't know how they would get in there. So that's one of my bigger complaints, and maybe one of these days I will address it myself. Make some changes to it. But as it stands here now, that's where it's at. So that's the Kazi Black Pearl. Now let's take a look at the Flagship here. And as you can see, it is very similar to design as the other one, and that's again because the Black Pearl is based off of this ship, which I don't even know why they call it the Black Pearl. It's just ridiculous to me. It's just a black pirate ship. But here's the front part I want to talk to you about. This was designed with like a pole or like a pin type piece that goes down, hooks into a Technic brick that's on the inside that you can't see, and then these are all built on top of it. and it's a very interesting, build, idea that, to my knowledge, this is the only ship that that included that to this date. So that's quite interesting. And you can see the anchor here, which the Kazi ship didn't even come with an anchor. I had to add one in the aftermarket. It didn't come with a figurehead either. Again, these, but this one did, of course. And then let's get right into the captain's quarters. And you see this just pulls right off, very easy, and you can get down in there and see. And there's an organ and a desk and a bottle and a map. And at the time of this video, again, there is another big pirate ship in the works from Lego, and when that comes out, I will be getting into it. But as of today, not only is this the best or the biggest pirate ship, that Brick built one that exists, but the captain's quarters itself is the best captain's quarters on any of these ships, bar none. Really, it's far superior. But as you can see, the cargo hold, lifts up right here, and it has two of them, and they both function, obviously. And this does not go here. This ship didn't actually even come with a dinghy. I just added this, and eventually I'm gonna build it on, so it has an actual place to store it instead of just hanging on a chain like that. I just haven't gotten around to it at the time of this video. But again, that's one of the advantages I do give the Kazi ship over this one. But that's one of the few. Here are the sails. Of course, these are Lepin sails. They are not the Lego sails. And the Lepin sails are slightly above average. I wouldn't rate them as great. The Lego is the only one that really has great sails, but they're definitely better than the paper sails that the Kazi ship came with. And now let me get to the point that where this ship just dominates the Kazi ship, and that is with the modular type design. These sections just lift off very, very easy, and you can get right down into the hull of the ship. And there's a kitchen there. There's cannons, and I got some crew down in the hull of the ship. And then there's a brig up front with a rad in it. You can see there's the chain that lifts the anchor up and down, and it has, a cool feature right there. As I've said in other videos, I need to get more cannons for this ship, and I will be. These blue ones, those are enlightened cannons. I will get more red Lego cannons to go in it in the future. And then show how easy it is to put back together. Got a man overboard. And again, I'm doing this one-handed, holding a camera, and it just goes back together very, very easily. Very nice. So yeah, that's the flagship. Let me bring the Black Pearl, or Kazi ship. That's the way I prefer to call it, because it's not the Black Pearl. Come on, guys. And there it is. Again, the flagship is the superior ship. No way around it. There are some things I like better about the Kazi ship, but if you're debating between these two, it's not even close. Get the flagship. But having said that, if you're looking for a big, nice, black, evil pirate ship, ghost ship, whatever you want to use for it, I highly recommend this for that purpose. I don't recommend it for children, or people that can't really do some heavy modifications to it, because it's going to require that, folks. The out-of-box version of this ship is, a 6 at best. It's quite flawed, where the out-of-box version of the flagship is probably a 9. So, but if you're willing to put the time in and address some of the things that I talked to you about, like you're going to run into problems with the flags, the mass, or not the flags, but the sails, the mass, and some of the brick quality in general. If you're really willing to work with that stuff, it's I do recommend this ship. Again, but it's not. The flagship is better. So that is my comparison for the Kazi Black Pearl and the Lepin/Lego Imperial Flagship. Thanks everybody for watching. Continue to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys all again soon. Take care, everybody.